Hey everyone, alright, so I wanted to do a video again on Star Wars. This is looking at possibly the storyline for episode 8 or 9, or maybe a possible future anthology film, because of course they announced a while ago that the plan is to do a Star Wars film every year now, so there's no limit to the amount of Star Wars films we could get. But I wanted to discuss the possibility of a Star Wars film following the Days of Future Past plot from X-Men. Now, I am not the first person to think of this, of course. I think it's been discussed on some discussion boards, and some people have even uploaded their own trailer mashups to YouTube, essentially Star Wars Days of Future Past. I think that it would be quite a good idea, you know, because of course a lot of people complain about the prequels, and I've certainly thought about the possibility of them doing a reboot of the prequels, but then of course you have the fact that they are established canon now, so if you go back and reboot all of them, you're again getting dangerously close to resetting the whole canon. So this may be a way to go back and make up for the prequels, It's something I think would be very, very cool, and something that may work well for episode 8 or 9. Of course, I have no idea what the plot is going to be, but this would be fun. So, for example, hypothetically speaking, if we were going to have it in episode 9, so things go really badly in episode 8, let's say, so they decide, right, we need to go back and stop this before it ever begins. So, for instance, Luke and Finn and Rey and Poe Dameron, those four go back in time. Now, of course, I know that Star Wars has never really explored time travel, of course, but the thing about Star Wars is the universe is absolutely massive, of course. So if they wanted to introduce this new concept of time travel, I don't think it'd be that difficult to do. Even if it was an ability that Luke had discovered through the Force, the ability to travel through time, who knows? But even if they discovered a planet, somewhere in the universe where they had this ability, or you had these species of people who were expert time travelers, I don't know. Or you never know, the Resistance may have, God knows how they did it, but they may have built what is essentially a time machine. Who the hell knows? But it'd be a fantastic idea, I think. So yeah, you got Luke, Rey, Finn and Poe Dameron. They travel back, right? Now, one of the big questions is when would they travel back to? I was thinking of prequel era, you know, but again, when in the prequel era, and I was just thinking, would they travel back to just like Revenge of the Sith time, rather than going all the way back to like Phantom Menace? I don't know, but you could make a case for going back to Phantom Menace. You go there and you put a stop to Palpatine before he even becomes Chancellor, But I would suggest Revenge of the Sith, and maybe if these guys arrive, this obviously, I'd like to point out, I'm hoping to get some feedback on this, so please feel free to comment your thoughts and ideas in the comments. But my thinking was maybe these guys arrive just after Obi-Wan and Anakin return from rescuing the Chancellor. It's just an idea. I mean, if you guys, you could make a really solid case for going back to like Phantom Menace era, but this is my thinking. They arrive in Revenge of the Sith era just after Anakin and Obi-Wan have got back from rescuing the Chancellor, and so the story is, how they meet up with Obi-Wan. You bring Ewan McGregor back, Sam Jackson as Mace Windu, and of course Master Yoda, and how they explain what's about to happen, and that you've got to move fast. You gotta put a stop to Palpatine. Obviously, explain to Anakin as well. You can't trust this guy. He's gonna trick you. So I just had this vision of, you'd have Luke, Finn, Rey, Poe Dameron, you'd have Obi-Wan, Anakin, Mace Windu, Yoda, and all the other Jedi, Kit Fisto, Ki-Adi-Mundi. You'd have all these guys, and obviously the Emperor's been exposed now for what he is. He's the Sith Lord we've been looking for. So of course the Emperor now, he's so the plan to turn Anakin Sith completely gone. Anakin's wise to him now, so cross that option off the list. So he's got to play with what he has. Obviously Dooku's dead by this point. Boom. So Palpatine's got to go with what he has. So let's say he's still got Grievous, of course. Still got all the Trade Federation droids, battle droids, whatever good they are. Super battle droids, much more promising. Droider cars, of course, the destroyers. Some of them, you couldn't ask for a better attack force. And of course you've got the Grievous bodyguards, which were totally underutilized in Revenge of the Sith, if you ask me. Be nice to get more of them fighting the Jedi in this, Jedi's going up against the Grievous bodyguards with those plasma staffs. I just think that would work really well. And the big question in this would be, would we still go with the Order 66, or would Palpatine not get a chance? It's a big question, because obviously the idea is that the Jedi would win now, and stop all this chaos that follows. But obviously if they executed Order 66, even if the Jedi were prepared, they'd still be severely outnumbered, because now you'd have clone troopers teaming up with the Trade Federation droids, and that's too much for anyone to handle. Yeah, so maybe that could be a plot of the movie, how they managed to avert Order 66. Let's stop this from happening. Or what we could do is, maybe if Order 66 does get executed, maybe that's inevitable. But then, of course, one of the big disappointments in Revenge of the Sith, I thought, was we went to Kashyyyk, introduced to the Wookiee planet. They didn't use the Wookiees enough, and you've got a really, really solid attack force in the Wookiees. So maybe if you brought those guys in and brought whatever volunteers you could muster from Naboo, to just throw together this makeshift army to fight the Trade Federation and the clone troopers that have turned heel, and of course you'd bring out all the young Jedi in training from the temple as well, because we saw an example, when Senator Organa, he has a run-in with some clone troopers at one point, and then that Jedi, really young Jedi, he must only be about 14, 15, he shows up out of nowhere to save Organa, and he's got some skills, man. So even the young Jedi, you know, the teenagers, they've got some skills, so they could fight. They're able-bodied, you know, and like I said, these guys have just got to throw together whoever the hell they can get to go and take these guys down. Now, one other thing, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do in this film. Now, of course, as we said, Anakin is no longer a viable option for Palpatine anymore. He's got to play with what he has. Of course, he has General Grievous still alive. Dooku's no longer around. But what he has got is Darth Maul. So bring Maul in. Yeah, bring Darth Maul in. And it'd be obviously make up for how wasted he was in the prequels. You know, I mean, yes, they brought him back in the Clone Wars, but it'd be nice to see him, boom, back in a live action. You know, nothing against the animated series, but obviously, you know, you want to see it in live action, don't you? If it's a Star Wars movie. So yeah, bring Maul back, and him and Grievous could just like wreck shop. And of course it'd be an opportunity for Obi-Wan and him to finally settle down things, you know. Yeah, I think that'd work. Now, now again, I know that he's gonna show up in Rebels, of course, which is, you know, in between. It's about 5 years before the events of the original Star Wars film, isn't it? But of course, if this was resetting, you know, a way of going back and changing the future, this would, you know, it'd still work. So yeah, finally get to see that final fight we've been waiting for between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. My God, that would be amazing. That really would be amazing. Yeah, getting to see older, more worn out Obi-Wan fighting Darth Maul, which that'd be pretty cool. I mean, you know, those people who said, well, you know, those people who love the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight, you know, obviously if we were going back to change the past, we wouldn't be getting that anymore. So what would be a really good alternative to the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight? Obi-Wan and Maul going at it one last time. Yeah, so I think that could be like the highlight of the film, and then, boom, once we finally defeated Maul, once we finally defeated Grievous, and obviously took care of his bodyguards as well, and finally battled our way through the endless Trade Federation droids, you know, the clone troopers as well. We don't know how the hell they've managed to do it. They've taken heavy casualties, but they've managed to do it. Like I said, the main players are still in the game. You know, Luke, Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, and of course our prequel team, you know, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda, Mace Windu. They're all still around. So we come to the final boss in Palpatine, and this is gonna go off. Now, how do we do this? Well, it's a good question. Now, you may say, put him up against Mace Windu again, because Mace Windu, of course, in Revenge of the Sith, he had Palpatine dead to rights if Anakin didn't show up. He had him beat. So, of course, you could do Mace Windu against Palpatine. You could even do Yoda against Palpatine again. Of course, something else we haven't considered is Palpatine's guards. You know, in the red dress. Of course, we don't know how many of them there are. I think when Yoda goes to confront Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith, there are only 2 at the door. But that's not. That doesn't mean there's a load. You know, there could be a load more waiting nearby. So maybe what the idea could be is, if you were going to do a one-on-one fight between one of the Master Jedis, and Palpatine, you know, the other guys could be dealing with the Grievous, with the Palpatine's bodyguards. I just had a thought, maybe I've missed it. Maybe what the final fight should be is Luke. Yeah, how about Luke Skywalker from episode 7 onwards from this new trilogy? So Master Luke, not Jedi Padawan Luke, not Jedi Knight Luke, but Jedi Master Luke Skywalker going up against the Emperor. Because I've been saying this, obviously in Force Awakens, we don't know how powerful Luke's become in that 30 years since Return of the Jedi. We do not know. Gonna find out, but we don't know for the minute. So for all we know, he could be more powerful than Yoda. We don't know, but he could be. So if that is the case, he is most qualified to face down Palpatine. And of course he's faced him down once before in Return of the Jedi, so he knows what he's dealing with here. But yeah, maybe it should just be Luke against Palpatine. That might work, you know. And while the other guys, you know, take care of whatever clone troopers are left and the Palpatine's bodyguards, because they looked so cool, those bodyguards in the red dress, and they had those like pikes, you know. But we had very underutilized, of course. We only saw them in the background in Return of the Jedi, and in Revenge of the Sith, those two that we did see, Yoda takes them out in like 2 seconds. You know, just throws them up against the wall, and they're done. So it would be nice to see what they're capable of, you know, in terms of combat. That would be brilliant to see. But like I say, the possibilities that they can do now with Star Wars, if they're going to do a film every year, you know, like a saga film one year, an anthology film the next, possibilities are endless, man. But I would love to, obviously, I know the Star Wars film I'm hoping to finally get is an Obi-Wan spin-off, because like I say, I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. As great as Alec Guinness was, Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan for me. So I would love to see him come back and do that, do a spin-off movie, as I've discussed in a previous video, you know, where Maul comes back and they finally duke it out once and for all. But this would be a great film to do as well. It's like Star Wars Days of Future Past, essentially. But it'd just be, I mean, yeah, you may you may get some accusations saying, oh, they're just ripping off X-Men. But X-Men, you know, it's not the first, you know, it doesn't own the concept of time travel. I mean, you could say essentially Days of Future Past is ripping off Terminator, or it's ripping off Back to the Future, you know, so they don't own the concept of time travel. They don't have a monopoly on the concept of time travel. So I think Star Wars could do this, you know. And like I say, even though time travel hasn't been, you know, prominent in the Star Wars universe, you know, it looks as though they're gonna start exploring different things, you know, new things in the Star Wars universe now, and they've got plenty of opportunity to do so now, you know. So I would love to see this, and oh man, could you imagine? I mean, rumour that Christian Harloff informed us of, you know, Ewan McGregor might be coming back for episode 8, man, to play Obi-Wan as a Force Ghost. I'd be down, you know. But I was saying, 5 years ago, could you imagine that we might be getting a film in which Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker is going to act in a scene opposite Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi? It's amazing, you know. So now, if we were to do this Days of Future Past storyline, so we could see older Master Luke Skywalker in a storyline opposite Obi-Wan Kenobi while he's still alive, you know, that'd be amazing. I think I would love to see that. And obviously there was a lot of hatred for Hayden Christensen as Anakin, you know. I personally agree with what Brad Jones stated when he was talking about Hayden Christensen. You know, he's one of those actors that he's as good as the material he's given to work with. So of course, if you brought Hayden Christensen in again, and obviously more solid, more solid script and better direction, you know, a director who can really work with actors, I think Hayden Christensen could do something quite effective, you know. And of course, he wouldn't be the lead, of course, he'd be part of an ensemble, you know, so he wouldn't be carrying the film, you know. Just keep him with Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor can guide him through. Even Mark Hamill. It'd be nice to see Mark Hamill. Meet your dad. Meet Hayden Christensen. So, you know, I think you wouldn't have to worry about Hayden Christensen. I don't think, you know, he'd be one of a number, and of course he'd have the benefit of better writing and better direction behind him, which could make all the difference. It really could. It'd be a good opportunity for him to redeem himself. It'd be a good, like I say, great opportunity for Ewan McGregor to get the Star Wars movie he deserves. It'd be cool to see Sam Jackson come back as Mace Windu. It'd be nice to see him maybe again, because we'd have better writing and better direction behind us this time. It'd be nice to see him kind of like loosen up, you know, because obviously, yeah, his character was very straight-laced and, you know, but, you know, it's Sam Jackson. You gotta let him bring some of his Sam Jackson magic into the role, so this would be a good opportunity to do that. And obviously, it'd be great to see Yoda again, you know. But I'd love to get your thoughts on this, you know. Please feel free to comment below. This is just, like, obviously, it's no original idea on my part. Other people have discussed it before, but I'd love to get people's thoughts on it. I think it'd be really exciting, fun film, you know. So that pretty much brings us to a close. Please feel free to discuss below your thoughts, and thanks for sticking with me, guys, and I shall see you all next time. And hey, well, let's look forward to Rogue One this year and Episode 8 next year. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you later. Bye.